Hi, so nothing is immune from the politics of a situation, and it's true now as it was in the 70s. In the 70s, of course, we had a huge problem with our economic production here in the UK. We had the oil crisis in the USA. The governments didn't really respond very well, and of course that meant that everybody was driven to doing stuff like self-sufficiency, and it's when people like John Seymour were writing all their books, and their books were really popular. It's also the time that this was set up. Now, we've come to Wales, I can remember the name of the town actually, Machynlleth, and we've come to the Centre for Alternative Technology. And that was set up in that time as well. About 1973 is when it actually first started, open to the public, around about 1976. Now, it suffered the same fortunes that all of this stuff suffered. When the economy picked up again, people just lost interest. And the whole thing fell down a little bit. It all got a bit shabby and a bit worn out. But of course, in our post-COVID world, where we've really been shown how fragile the world economy is, despite the faith we had it in a few years ago, then people have a renewed interest. I mean, that interest never went away. And it was growing prior to that, but now it is tremendously renewed. When you find people, again, looking at ways in which they can support themselves, support the environment, look after their needs in terms of food and energy. Now, the CAT has joined in with that revival. There's been a resurgence. The buildings are very beautiful now. There's been a whole lot of pickup in what they're doing, and what they're trying to do is balance that. Now, their philosophy seems mostly to be that we don't need to wait for the latest sort of widget that's going to save us all, the magic bullet that will cure all ills. What they're arguing, and what I agree with actually, is that those things are already in existence. And the issue isn't actually coming up with the latest, greatest thing. The issue really is about how we use those things that are already there and what differences we can make. And the belief is that we can have zero impact just using the things that we've got around us right now if we use them properly, instead of dealing with them as kind of a fringe, a sort of thing you might do when you've thought about it a bit just in case, that actually could become central to our lives, and it could become something that makes a great difference. And really, it's to do with attitudes. One of the things I do like about the CAT actually is their multidisciplinary approach to things. Now, when I think about alternative energy, alternative lifestyles, zero impact, all of that sort of stuff, I'm a bit of an engineer, a bit of a chemist, so my mind automatically turns to things like solar and wind and water and efficiency in generation, storage, that sort of stuff, because that tends to be what I'm interested in. Now, my wife is interested in absolutely what could be considered the opposite, and that is the way we actually acquire our food and the impact that the food has. And of course, we often think if we don't have a garden, well, how on earth are you going to be able to grow your own food? And one of the displays actually here at CAT, kind of very cool. It's showing an alternative way that you can actually grow things in just a whole ton of stuff. So I mean, here we've got some stacked tyres, there's a purpose-built planter right there, this is clearly a waste bin, there's a tin bath, there's buckets and plant pots and old sinks, and really just utilising whatever there is to grow some amazing crops in pots. I mean, right behind me here, there it is, there's an apple tree growing right there. Whole bunch of tomatoes there, there's some squashes and some corn, some sunflowers, the kind of things you would think would just be pot bound, actually growing in pots. So to some extent then food production and food growth is brought very much more down to a basic level, and they're using things like biological pest control as well. That sort of stuff actually is, as I say, not something I automatically think of, and yet clearly something that has an important impact. Now, my wife actually takes care of that for me. We grow our own crops in our garden. We do squashes, actually, courgettes, tomatoes, cauliflowers, that sort of thing. But then I look at this sort of stuff where you can apply that on a smaller scale and still have an impact on what it is that you're doing. Okay, you're not going to get away from my love of machinery and engineering, obviously. The main entranceway into the CAT is this thing, which is a water balance funicular. Basically, they stick a whole load of water in the tank there. This top one gets heavy, drags down and pulls the bottom one up, and that's the main way up and out. Now, I love that when it's something like here, where water is not a scarce resource, and you're just using that difference in weight as a power source to deliver people to the top, rather than using an engine. In their effort to educate, inform and improve, what the CAT is doing, I think, is trying to balance three things. There, of course, food production, which we had a quick look at, and then there is the energy production and storage, where we haven't really looked at because we've done an awful lot of that on the channel itself. And then finally, the building approach to things. Now, building accounts for something like 50% of CO2 emissions, something like that. And then looking at alternatives to that, so you're looking at things like packed earth and hemp bales and straw building and all that sort of stuff. Because new build represents an opportunity. And there is a site in Newcastle that actually uses zeolite air conditioning. Now, zeolite's a very curious material. It actually gets warm when it absorbs moisture, and it gets cool when it gives that moisture off. So a zeolite central heating system would really consist of fins that go straight into the clay. And of course, during the summer, when there's a lot of solar heat and you're drying that clay, what happens? The building gets cool. And of course, we live in England, and in England during the autumn and the winter, exactly when we need that heat, we open that clay to the atmosphere, absorbs the moisture from it, and suddenly we get a heating system. Now, a zeolite heating and cooling system isn't something that is traditionally looked at, but is being looked at other alternative builds, and that would be a really exciting way, rather than looking at things like ground pumps and air pumps, to look at something like that. And the estimation is a couple of washing machines full of zeolite clay is enough to heat and cool a house. Now, the cat is clearly on a mission, and that mission is clearly a bit of a journey for them. So they've done really well on things like the building, the education side, the planting side, but their energy side, I think, still needs a little bit of work. I mean, this is their energy display. About half of those things are broken, which is a real shame. But then, like I say, I think they are on a journey. Now, I wasn't expecting very much, having read the reviews, but have been really pleasantly surprised. And I would say that the trip out to the middle of North Wales to see this centre was actually well worth the trouble. It's actually pretty informative and pretty interesting, though I think some essential bits and pieces are missing, and some essential bits and pieces need a bit more TLC. So I think my main takeaway from this actually is that the approach to alternative technology and to zero impact living is of a broader scope than we actually think. I mean, as you know, I focus mostly on generation and storage, but things like the approach to buildings, the approach to food production and management of water resources, that kind of thing, has kind of been opened up to me just by this visit here. So although it's, without being too cruel, a little seedy in parts of it, very glossy and nice in other parts, I'm being stuck in the middle of North Wales, I would say it's well worth the visit, and I certainly have learned something by coming here. So I hope you've enjoyed it too. Thank you very much for watching, and please remember to like and subscribe.